Whitney, do the bear pose. Do it right now. Now do you feel more powerful?
So, hey guys, that's a wrap on WSIA 2023. I'm excited to get together with you to talk about our thoughts on the conference and all the trending topics that we heard about. So today I have with me Whitney Pomeroy. She's our AVP Sales Executive in the Southeast region, Carolyn Wendorf, our RVP in the Midwest region, and Catherine Strong, the head of our sales and distribution. I'm excited to get into some of the topics that we heard about while we talked with our brokers. And I think one of the first ones that came up pretty much in every single conversation that we had was around PFAS and kind of what is our approach to that. So Carolyn, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So in terms of PFAS, I would say Berkley Environmental strategy has been evolving over time. We've always taken the philosophy of really underwriting individual risks. So we're continuing to do that with our PFAS strategy as well, to look at what the exposures and controls are for the individual accounts and developing a strategy around that for them.
I think another topic that came up was around access and how and what we offer in that area. Catherine, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, we heard the trend at WSIA. Obviously, we know many of our competitors are shrinking their capacity, maybe offering 5, whereas before they would go all the way up to 10 or 15 million. So we know that there is room for additional players on high excess positions. And we are absolutely fueling our growth with writing high excess. Our preference is always to write the primary and the excess, but there are some cases where we may not have the opportunity on the primary this year. And in order to get to know the insured better, we will take a run at the excess and, we'll be able to evaluate the whole program and know in the future that we can step in on the primary.
Yeah, and Catherine, with that, I think it also is something that fills a need for some of our key broker partners, being able to come up with a solution and help them find a problem solve for their customers.
Right.
The other thing that I heard a lot about was auto. I know that some people were referencing, competitors kind of in that space and how they come in and out of market. Do you guys want to talk about kind of our approach in the auto space?
Yeah. So, that's, of course, one of our big selling points is the fact that we can offer the auto on not just light fleets, on heavies, extra heavies. But I think what is most important is it feels like every other day we're hearing, oh, so-and-so is pulling out of Georgia, so-and-so is pulling out of commercial auto, just in general. And that is why we are so steady. And, we can take flack sometimes about how aggressively we underwrite our auto, but that's because we want to stay in auto. We always want to be there for our insureds and our brokers. The one thing that you don't hear is that we're pulling out of a certain line or a certain coverage. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, and I would say too, we're really constantly trying to evolve. Our customers are evolving every day, and we want to make sure that we're staying on top of it and being there for them. So being able to come up with large deductible programs on their comp and auto, being able to offer higher limits on the excess, and expand our appetite in terms of what operations we want to focus on.
The other topic that I heard about was alt energy. Pretty much everyone is asking about what we're doing in that space, what we're covering, what we're not. So I'm not sure who wants to take that one.
I'll kick it off. We actually, at WSIA 2022, we kicked off that we were bullish on doing alternative energy. We woke up a year and a half ago realizing we had $10 million in the space by accident, right? Not focusing on it. And we realized our wholesalers really had a lot of this business and didn't have a consistent home for this business. Some things that we are most successful on have been commercial solar contractors, folks, transitioning to EV charging stations and doing the build for EV charging stations. Anaerobic digesters, we've done a lot of those. We're getting into geothermal risks as well. And Carolyn, I'm going to kick it to you.
Yeah. So, just being in the Midwest, we're seeing quite a bit on the anaerobic digesters. So I think a lot of our wholesalers were kind of surprised at us being in that space and being able to do not just the construction of the digester, but then ongoing operations. So we're really kind of setting ourselves apart in that marketplace by being there and being able to do an all-line solution for them. Because again, a lot of the markets that focus on alt energy are just doing GL or just doing GL pollution, maybe excess, but not being able to do auto and comp. And then the EV charging is really something that's taking off just with the infrastructure bill that's out there, making sure that people can go on a road trip and drive 5 hours and be able to do fast charging so that they're not on the side of the road for an hour. So seeing a lot of opportunity in that space. And I think we're really well positioned to take advantage of that.
And I think it's telling of kind of how our underwriting strategy goes, that we're not necessarily saying, hey, these are the classes we can write, just send us that. We're saying, hey, send us what you have. Let's see if we can get comfortable with it. If we can get comfortable with it, we'd like to write it. We want to help our brokers. So we're not just, trying to pigeonhole into certain areas. We're open to hearing what people are seeing and what they need help on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I think honestly, that's one of the things that sets Berkley Environmental apart is our underwriting and sales team, that we're looking to innovate, come up with creative solutions for our insureds, really tailor everything to their individual operations and exposures. So that, kind of sets us apart in that space.
So after being with, our brokers for a few days and having all these meetings and hearing about all of these trending kind of questions and topics, what is the overarching message you want to share with our brokers that kind of addresses how we're approaching growth in our business going forward?
I got to say, wholesalers, which WSIA is all about, wholesalers have really fueled our new business growth. 70% of our new business this year has come from our wholesale partners. I think it's really interesting, the M&A activity right now going on, especially with environmental specialists. The more seamlessly we can make that transition with them, the better we're going to do. And I think the collaboration is really, really strong, especially with those environmental wholesale specialists that do a lot of business with our program administrators as well. We heard some awesome things about our program administrators, like the AmWinds programs group and Partner One for our smaller business. And obviously, we've talked about alternative energy. We've talked about being dedicated to the excess space as well. But our large accounts, I think that was really good news to our wholesale group, that we are really quite bullish on writing larger accounts. And we're getting a whole lot more flexible about deploying medium to large deductibles. And we're getting a whole lot faster on quoting that business. So the more skin in the game for those large accounts that the client is willing to take, I think the better our program is and the better buy it is for the insured.
The only thing I would kind of add, piggybacking off of Catherine's statement, is just the partnerships. Our wholesalers are looking for us to be their long-term partners. When we are underwriting our risk, we're really, digging into the account because we want to stay with that account, not for 1 or 2 years. We want to be with them for 10 plus years. And that's, again, how we're kind of evolving our strategy by coming up with large deductibles, because as our insureds are growing, they need to have those options available to them.
Whitney, do you have anything to add to that?
So one of the things we were hearing a good bit is post-COVID, a lot of people have moved around. They've opened up new offices. And, I was just kind of trying to remind people, remember that we have offices all over the country. We are limited distribution, but we are open to new appointments. So if you are interested in our program, you can reach out to your regional sales exec, or you can go to our website. We have everything from our specimen forms, apps, to risk management tools, our safety advantage. It's kind of all encompassing.
One of the things we learned at WSIA, there's no shortage of markets doing some of what we do, but there are very few markets doing all of what we do. Please reach out locally and let's write some business together.
I think that's a great way to end it. I had the greatest time with all of you ladies at WSIA. I learned so much, and I'm really looking forward to next year. Like Whitney said, check us out on berkley-environmental.com. All right, well, can't wait for next year.
See you in 2024.
Thanks, ladies.